Do you have a business that serves your local community? Are you trying to take your business to the next level? Do you struggle to understand your business numbers? Well, stop working harder thinking you're going to make more money. That's not how it works. Each week, we go over how to understand and leverage your business numbers to not only create more sales, but more importantly, how to create more profits. Remember, it isn't about how much you sell. It's about how much you keep at the end of the day. My name is Tammy, and I'm on a mission to help badass business owners like yourself put more money in your pocket. So whether you're a badass or a badass in the making, let's get this party started. Hey, badass business owners. Welcome back to the show. This is part 4 of our series of diving into the concepts from the EMyth by Michael Gerber. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is one of my favorite chapters. So please, if you don't listen to any of the other ones, definitely listen to this one because it really gets you thinking of your business in a completely different way. And I've actually talked about this in other ways on other episodes. So you'll know that it's something that I'm really passionate about. And I think it's something that it will change the way you do business just by the concepts in this one chapter alone. Now, if you have the book or you've ordered the book, once again, it's EMyth Revisited by Michael Gerber. If you're following along, doing it with the book, or if you haven't decided on the book yet, it is in the show notes. Don't forget that. But anyways, in this chapter, what he really talks about is the maturity phase of a business. And what he does is he talks more about the fact that you don't just become mature. It's not guaranteed that you're going to go from, a baby business to crawling to adolescence. I think we talked about some of those concepts in the last episode, to all of a sudden being mature. That's not necessarily how it works, because maturity, when he talks about it with a business, is more of a mindset. And when a business starts looking at the business through the set of being mature and mature eyes, then everything changes. The whole way you run the business is different, and you actually start seeing huge growth in the business. But he also talks about the fact that mature businesses can start at any point. You can actually start a business as a mature business, and you can flip the switch wherever you are in your business to being a mature business. And the best way to explain it is, first, let me explain what a mature business is. A mature business knows where it wants to be. It knows what it looks like. It knows when they see the vision of the future and when they see the concept of what this business is doing, they have that mindset from the very beginning. And he cites a couple different companies that kind of had that vision from the very beginning. For example, McDonald's knew exactly what he wanted to create. FedEx knew exactly what they wanted to create. And if you know anything about the history of Disney, Walt Disney knew exactly what he was creating when he was putting together the whole Disney concept of what he wanted. They all had a vision from the very beginning. And what they did is, from the very beginning, they focused on this vision. So for most business owners, most small business owners like yourselves, what you do is you kind of just, pick up your hammer and saw, or buy a register, or pick your products or whatever, and you just start going. Whereas a mature business owner from day one knows what type of business they're growing and what that vision is. And everything they do, they're basically working towards that goal. And we're going to break that down a little bit. And it really comes down to, remember, you're wearing 3 hats, right? You've got your technician hat, you've got your manager hat, you got your entrepreneurial hat. So where the mature part comes in, it really is the entrepreneurial side hat that you are constantly wearing. And it's through those set of eyes that you are monitoring your business and you're watching your business. And what he talks about, for example, is the entrepreneurial perspective and the technician's perspective, both of which have to do with the business. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit. So the entrepreneur perspective is, how must the business work? When they're thinking about the business and they're looking at it, what they do is they sit back and they start going, how should this business work to be successful, to achieve the dream that I have? Whereas a technician is going to look at the business and say, hey, what work needs to get done? Now, there's a slight difference in that if you're really listening. The technician is asking, what work needs to be done? They're ready to be let go and go do the work. Whereas an entrepreneur perspective is sitting back saying, hey, what is the work that needs to be done? What am I solving? What pain points am I solving? And then works backwards. Whereas the technician just wants to jump right in, dive right in, and get stuff done. The entrepreneur's perspective sees the business as a system to produce the results for the customer. Okay. The entrepreneur side is focused on the customer and getting them the results that they want. And they know that if they provide the results for the customers, it's going to result in bottom line profits. Whereas the technician looks at it in a different way. They focus on how to work hard to produce the results for them to get an income. So from a technician standpoint, it's all about the income they're trying to create, and they jump right in because they want to create the income. Whereas the entrepreneur is saying, hey, I want to have very satisfied, happy customers. I want to solve these customers' problems. And if I do, I will make great profits in my business. Can you see the difference? One is focused on the business profits coming from satisfied customers. The other one is, what work can I do to produce an income for myself? Two totally different mindsets. Another one that I kind of pulled out was the entrepreneur perspective has a picture of the future and then works today to achieve that vision. Okay, so their focus is always on the bigger picture and where they're going and what steps do they need to take today to achieve them. You've heard me talk about this concept in the past. Now, the technician starts today and is really hoping that they can just grow that business, that they can make it bigger and they can turn it into something. So they really have no clear vision as to where it's going. They just know that if they keep their head down and they keep working hard, someday they're going to build an even bigger business, or they can produce even more profits, income for themselves. So they're kind of starting here and trying to go out, where the other one starts in the future and is making changes today to fit that future. So hopefully you can see just from those three examples, just some ways that your mindset and what you're thinking about can make a huge difference on how you look at your business. And this is a game changer in your business. All right. Now, a couple other things that I want to kind of just touch on. I jotted down some notes. The technician sees no connection between where the business is going and where it is now. And that's where, like I said, you're kind of hooked on today and what's happening, but you're never really thinking about, is this going to get me one step closer to where I want to go? And that's one of those, just that little change can make a huge difference. Is what I'm doing today, is it a Band-Aid, or is this something that's going to help me get to where I want to go? And that's where you want to focus, is what is that vision? Now, your vision might tweak and change, but you want to have something that's pretty solid with what it is you want to do. And you may decide later that that's not really what you want. That's different, but you need to have a vision of what it is that you're trying to do. Another concept that he talks about is the entrepreneurial model looks at a business as if it was a product sitting on a shelf, competing for the customer's attention. Now, what that means is they focus on how they will be unique, how they will solve problems for our customer. They don't focus on what it is that they do. They focus on what are the needs of the customers and how can I solve those needs? What are the problems they're facing? How can I solve those problems? Whereas the other direction, when you're coming at it from the technician side, you just say, this is what I do, and if I solve a problem for you, good. If I don't, oh well. All right, so the technician starts from, this is what I have to offer, take it or leave it, this is what I can do for you. Whereas the entrepreneur says, what are your problems? And then says, hey, how can I tweak and adjust my business to solve those problems? So one is as a problem solver. The other one is seeing it from, this is the skills that I bring to the table. And hopefully you can understand and see the difference between those two mindsets as well. All of these little nuggets are things that really help just change the way that you look at things and the way that you tackle your business day to day. And one is going to get you there faster because you're focused on the bigger picture. Because unfortunately, what happens is most technicians are ultimately trying to satisfy themselves versus trying to satisfy the customer. They're trying to do work that they love to do and make an income for themselves. So they're really, all their focus is on themselves versus on, what's right for their customer and how do I satisfy my customers. Once again, another little way of just kind of looking at it. To the entrepreneur, the business is the product. To the technician, what they do or sell is the product. So it's what you vision what it is. Are you selling the business or are you selling what it is that you actually do? Hopefully all of this is making sense. I know I'm throwing a lot of different concepts out there for you. I guess the main thing that I want you to walk away from is if you happen to see that the customer is the problem and they're always changing and they're never satisfied, they always want the cheapest thing, you're focused on what it is that you do and what people perceive of what it is that you do, versus I want you to change that mindset, because like I said, the entrepreneur is the other way. What they're doing is they're finding out what it is that the customer wants, and they see it more as an opportunity within their business. They see it as, here are customers that are begging for something. How do I provide what it is that they're begging for? How do I solve the pain points that they have? They don't get hung up on people wanting the cheaper price, because that's not who they're focused on. Those aren't the customers they're trying to solve and to make happy. There's plenty of other people that do what it is that you do that can go after the people that only want you for cheap prices or cheap quality or whatever the case may be. What you have to do is say, you know what? My focus, my customer who I'm clear on, is somebody who has this pain point that wants it to be solved correctly the first time with great quality and high customer service. That's who they're focused on. And that's where you're having that more mature mindset. Because if you think about it, in the early stages, we just want to solve everybody's problem. Well, the reality is you can't solve everybody's problem. But what you want to do is you want to say, hey, my business is being put into place because these are the people that I want to try to help, and these are the folks that I want to serve. Now, to kind of put that a little bit of perspective, it's funny because when I first started thinking about how I wanted to help you guys, it's funny because in my head, I see what it is that I want to create, 5-10 years down the road. And a lot of times I have that same battle myself because I know what my vision is, because I just don't think there's anything out there that really helps folks like yourself that is a go-to resource automatically that people know. And that's the vision kind of that I have. Whereas, for example, I can spend a lot of my time on the little things, and I do. I get hung up on the technician side of it, of how I can do, these on a lower scale, and that isn't necessarily going to help me get one step closer to the bigger vision. So I know for myself, when I was reading this chapter, it really helps solidify that aha about never losing sight of the big picture. Don't get hung up on the day-to-day tasks that you're doing, that you forget where you are going, what you are trying to create. And I just want you to have that same thing. I think it's really easy for us to get sucked into the technician side of our business and the day-to-day running of the business and the day-to-day demands and the people calling and the people asking for stuff, that we start to get tunnel vision to what it is that we do in the product or service that we offer, instead of saying, hey, is this really going to help me create that bigger picture? And I, for example, and whether I'm thinking of my other business or this particular one, I find that I get stuck in the weeds just like you do. And you know what? When I focus on the bigger picture, I make leaps and bounds. I make bigger jumps in my businesses towards where I want to go. And it's that same thing that I'm experiencing when I focus on the big picture. I see that growth and I see that jump that I want to do, as opposed to when I get bogged down by the technician. Now, the whole book is about trying to figure out, you can't be 100% entrepreneur. You can't be 100% technician, and you can't be 100% manager. So the rest of the book, we're going to start diving more into that manager hat that kind of has to be that person in between that helps us put those processes and those pieces in place that help us satisfy the technician's needs and satisfy the entrepreneur's needs of where we want to go. But I'm telling you, if you read nothing else in this book, if you decide that you say, hey, I'm going to get the book, I'm going to spend the $11 on the book, and I'm going to start reading it. Whatever you do, please, please, please do not skip chapter 6. I think chapter 6 has a huge, if you really focus on it, read it several times, I think it has the huge potential for a lot of you to take your business to that next level, to start visioning it, especially if you've been in business for a few years and you've kind of lost traction and you're kind of not sure where the business is going. I think that by just picking up and reading chapter 6 alone, I think you're going to see and find some clarity that is really going to give you that aha moment to take that business to that next level. And like I said, it's let me open this up real quick here. Bear with me. Chapter 6 is called Maturity and the Entrepreneurial Perspective. Once again, EMyth Revisited by Michael Gerber, link in the show notes. Yes, it's an affiliate link. You guys, it doesn't charge you anything. It doesn't cost you any money. I just made it easy for you guys to be able to go get it. Get it on your own. I don't really care. I just want you to have it. And I want you to go down this journey and just try to pull out some of the concepts. Like I said, there's a reason why this book is often cited as one of the major books that any great successful business person has read, especially, and when I say business person, I'm not talking about those big companies. I'm talking about people that have built businesses in their local communities and have built really solid businesses that create a fantastic income and profits, owner shares for their business owners. They credit this book for a reason, because it changes your mindset. It really gets you going from what it is that you do to what it is that you are building. And I can't stress to you enough that you can't just keep putting your head down and just helping customers. That's a piece of the business. But as you grow that business, it's less and less of what you do. It's more of, what is this business? Why do people love this business? And if you go back to those 3 examples, McDonald's, FedEx, and Disney, you'll know exactly what it is. They have a vision, and people know what it is that they do. And they focused on it from day one, and they created a vision that came true for them. But everything they do today is, can they still deliver that? They have the same focus today that they did when they first started, because it's always been about the mission of what the company is here to achieve and to do. All right, with that, I know I'm getting to that point where I'm rattling, but I'm telling you, the Entrepreneurial Perspective is going to be a game changer for a lot of you. And I highly recommend, like I said, Chapter 6, hands down, one of the best chapters in the book. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in the book, but by far, I think this is one of the best chapters in the book for a lot of you guys that are trying to get to that next level and to change the way that you look at your business. Because if your business is kind of like spinning the wheels, it's not doing bad, you've got a good income, it's doing good, but you just feel like something's missing and you're having trouble get to that next level, I'm telling you, Chapter 6 is going to be huge for a lot of you guys to check out. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this puppy, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye for now. Hey, before you go, if you're looking to learn more about your business numbers, then check out the Know Your Business Numbers course, where we take a deeper dive into the key numbers, the calculations, the reports that will help you take your business to the next level. My mission is to help everyone love their business numbers. Yes, even including those of you that hate math. So much profit is hidden inside of your business numbers, and I want you to create some awesome profits. So check out the link in the show notes, or head on over to the knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. Once again, knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. Come join me. Let's go ahead and work on building your profits.